The Māori All Blacks, previously called the New Zealand Māori, is a rugby union team from New Zealand, a representative team of the New Zealand Rugby Union. A prerequisite for playing in this team is that the player is to have Māori whakapapa genealogy. In the past this rule was not strictly applied. Non-Māori players who looked Māori were often selected in the team. These included a few island players and a couple of African descent. Today all players have their ancestry verified before selection in the team. The team's first match was in 1888 against Hawke's Bay, and the first international match in 1888 against Ireland in Dublin. This was followed by a tour of Europe in 1888 and 1889, where the team suffered the first test defeat to Wales in Swansea. The team's early uniforms consisted of a black jersey with a silver fern and white knickerbockers. New Zealand Māori perform a haka, a Māori challenger posture dance, before each match. The haka was later adopted by the New Zealand national team, the All Blacks, as were the black shirts. In 2001, the Māori first performed the team.These haka, which describes the evolution of life and the creation of New Zealand from the four winds. The Māori All Blacks competed in the Churchill Cup, which they won in 2004 and 2006, and in the Pacific Nations Cup, which they won in 2008. In November 2012, the team played 3 matches in England, against Canada at Oxford University RFC, the Leicester Tigers, and an RFU Championship 15 consisting of English qualified players from the second-tier RFU Championship. Since being given official status in 1910, the New Zealand Māori have selected some of rugby union's great players, including fullback George Napier, who played 46 games for New Zealand from 1924 to 30, halfback Sid Going, who played 86 matches for his country, and former New Zealand captain Taine Norton, who represented New Zealand in 61 games, including 27 tests, and later became president of the New Zealand Rugby Union. History. The team was renamed the Māori All Blacks in 2012, having been previously called the New Zealand Māori and New Zealand Maoris. The first official New Zealand Maoris team was selected in 1910. However, the 1888 New Zealand Natives team, one of the first of New Zealand's national rugby teams and the first to wear black jerseys, was originally conceived as an all-Maori selection and ultimately included just 5 non-Maori players in its ranks. The team is a selection of the best of New Zealand's Maori rugby players and boasts a proud history of defeating national sides at matches in New Zealand in 2010 to mark 100 years of Māori All Blacks rugby. The team defeated Ireland and England, having beaten the British and Irish Lions in 2005. Many members have gone on to play for the All Blacks. The team pioneered the black jersey, the silver fern, and performing a haka before kick-off, all now synonymous with New Zealand sport. The New Zealand Natives. In 1888–89, the New Zealand Natives were the first overseas team to tour the home nations. At first the team was meant to comprise only Maori, but 4 whites were finally included to strengthen the combination. The tour was a private endeavour and was not an official representative team. The tour was organised by Joseph Warbrick, promoted by Thomas Ayton, and managed by James Scott. The team played 107 matches during the tour. Although most of the matches played were rugby football, the team also played Victorian rules football and association football in Australia. The squad consisted of 26 players, and they achieved a record of 78 wins, 6 draws, and 23 losses. They had success over international side Ireland but lost to Wales and England. The idea for a team of Maori team of footballers to tour Britain was that of Joseph Warbrick. He had initially proposed a team of Maori apart Maori play the touring British side in 1888. This developed into a venture to have a Maori team, Britain if a preliminary tour of New Zealand was successful. After learning of Warbrick's plans, Thomas Ayton contacted him to help manage the tour. Eventually James Scott joined the partnership, and the roles of the three were decided: Warbrick as captain, Scott as manager, and Ayton as promoter. Warbrick started assembling a team for the tour in early 1888. He did have difficulties assembling a team due to player availability, and failed to secure Jack Tauroa due to his university commitments. Some players who were available for the tour withdrew due to the inclusion of part Maori in the team. There were 20 Maori players selected for the team. However, after the defeat to Auckland, 5 Pākehā players were added to the team. Due to the inclusion of Pākehā players, the team was renamed from the New Zealand Māori to the New Zealand Native Football Representatives. The final team consisted of 26 players including Warbrick. The team toured New Zealand before departing overseas. The team played against Hawke's Bay, Auckland, Nelson, Wellington, Canterbury, South Canterbury, and Otago. The first game was held against Hawke's Bay in Napier on the 23rd of June 1888. They played 9 games in the preliminary tour of New Zealand, of which 7 were won. Their last match was against Otago and was 1-1. Try-0 was played in Dunedin on the 31st of July 1888. The team departed for Australia from Dunedin on the 1st of August 1888. The team arrived in Melbourne, where Scott recruited a Victorian rules coach, Jack Lala, to coach the team while they were in Britain for possible Victorian rules matches on the return to Australia. The team did play 2 matches while in Melbourne. Both were rugby matches against the Melbourne Rugby Union team, with the first one, and the second a draw. They departed from Melbourne to Britain via Suez. The team arrived in London on the 27th of September 1888. Māori All Blacks under apartheid. New Zealand has a long history of sporting contact with South Africa, especially through rugby union. Until the 1970s, this resulted in discrimination against Maori players. Since the apartheid political system in South Africa for most of the 20th century did not allow people of different races to play sport together, and therefore South African officials requested that Maori players not be included in sides which toured the country. Despite some of New Zealand's best players being Maori, this was agreed to, and Maori were excluded from tours of South Africa, including the Māori All Blacks. Nonetheless, in the early period, South Africa did play the Māori All Blacks. In April 2010, it was revealed by Muru Walters that in 1956 Ernest Corbett, Minister of Maori Affairs, had told the team to deliberately lose to the Springboks for the future of rugby. The Maori team lost 37-0. This was followed by Walters calling for the New Zealand government to apologise for the way it treated Maori rugby players. Professional era. The professional era in Maori Rugby Union began in 1994. Marked the team lost only 4 of its 26 games played between 1994 and 2004, including beating England, Argentina, Scotland and Fiji. The Maori continued the winning form in 2004, beating the England Saxons in extra time in the final of the Churchill Cup in Canada. One of the 2 annual tournaments is a competition involving the Pacific top national teams, the Pacific Nations Cup. From 2008 they replaced the Junior All Blacks, where they were undefeated champions, narrowly beating Australia-A in the final game of the tournament. The Churchill Cup was another winning in 2004 after they returned to the competition in 2006, defeating Ireland-A and the USA in in pool play in Santa Clara, California, and Scotland.A in the final in Edmonton, Alberta. In 2005, the Māori beat the British and Irish Lions for the first time in an official match. The preparations for this match forced them to withdraw from the 2005 Churchill Cup. In August 2012, NZRU announced the Māori All Blacks would play 3 matches in the United Kingdom, including an international fixture against Canada. Jamie Joseph was coach with assistance from Daryl Gibson. Haka. One of the New Zealand natives' greatest legacies was the haka, a traditional Maori posture dance with vigorous movements and stamping of the feet, to the accompaniment of rhythmically shouted words. This was first performed during a match on 3 October 1888 against Surrey in England, United Kingdom. The haka was later adopted by the New Zealand national team, the All Blacks. In 2001, the Maori first performed the team.These haka, which describes the evolution of life and the creation of New Zealand from the Four Winds. This dramatic haka, team.These, was written especially for the New Zealand Maori team by Team Kaumatu Ifetu Tipi Y. It tells the Maori story of the creation from the void, the nothingness, the darkness to what we have today. It also tells of a gathering of young warriors, young chiefs, young rugby players who are making a statement and setting aims, objectives and strategies to achieve Matauranga, Whanonatanga and Taumatatanga. This is not only for the present but for the future of Maori rugby and each individual's mana, whana, hapa and iwi. This will increase their oranga both Wairua, Hinamngaro and Tanana. Matches against international sides. New Zealand Maori matches against international sides, including the New Zealand Natives 1888 and 1889 tour. These results are only against full international sides, including the British and Irish Lions, not against second national teams. Overall squad for 2015 July tour. New Zealand Maori 32-man squad. The match against Fiji on the 11th of July and the match against the New Zealand Barbarians on the 18th of July. All squad members play rugby in New Zealand. Head coach Colin Cooper. Note: bold denotes players that have represented the Māori All Blacks in previous tours. Note: flags indicate national union as has been defined under IRB eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-IRB nationality. Notable players.